ended up watching fucking fireworks, so I wasn't like
They
I
had
took a
fireworks
couple
for
of
your
shots and
birthday?
watched fireworks. No, it's Shake the Lake in Madison. So
Shake the lake. It's DJ's birthday.
yeah, that's what they did. They're like, "My birthday, fucking shake that goddamn lake."
All right, Mr. Hungover. Since you're not providing me anything good, let's just get loaded. Welcome to the Loaded Box Podcast.
Where we never finish first because we finish last.
Thank you once again for tuning in to the Loaded Box Podcast. I am Ben Morgan, and that is DJ Primo, and we are back to discuss some boom and bust picks from each division in the NFC. But before we get to that, DJ, you just turned 31. We're both officially old, and you drank on your birthday. What is a hangover like at 31 compared to 30?
Oh, it's still just both garbage. Probably going to be hungover yet tomorrow. I guarantee it. I feel better than I thought I would, but when I first woke up, I couldn't even open my eyes because the pain was just radiating behind them.
For our younger audience, when did the 2-day hangovers start for you?
Fuck. God, probably around 25 to 27.
Yeah, I was going to say right around that 27-ish range, I think. So
Yeah.
for our young audience, enjoy it while you can because you are going to get old and you are going to get old fast. It hits you
Yeah,
like a
fuck
ton
off,
of
you
bricks,
guys.
man.
And Ben's getting married this week, everybody. So let's round of applause for him on that
Yeah,
one.
thanks for the
What an
claps.
idiot! What an idiot!
God.
I can't believe it. I'm gonna try to capture some of this wedding on Instagram. I always say this, and on Twitter. I always say this, but then I get so caught up in the partying that I do 2 videos in.
It's hard
And
to find
fucking
time.
forget.
It's hard to find time for that when you're just
I know.
boozing.
So I'll at least get a couple for sure.
You
So,
probably should have taken the Monday off after the wedding, like I did.
yeah, I probably should for that 2-day hangover.
Yes.
We
Well-
what was I going to say? Oh, we probably won't be podcasting next week. Huh?
Yeah, we might be on a little bit of a hiatus here, so this might be the last one you get for a couple of weeks. But we'll be back. So for our everyday listeners, thank you once again for tuning in. You probably knew that we were going to be taking off here because we've talked about the date and everything with Mitchell Renz. But for our new people, thanks for tuning in. We try to podcast once a week in the off season. Sometimes we pump out 2. Otherwise, during the year we do 2. But as I was saying, today we're going to dissect the NFC, talk about a player that we think is going to boom and a pick that we think is going to bust from each division in the NFC. So without further ado, DJ, we're talking about sleepers in the NFC East. Who do you got?
All right. My number one sleeper in the NFC East, who we've talked about multiple times, and I thought you'd take him, and I was happy to see you didn't, so it made it easier for me. Sterling Shepard. I've seen a lot of people on this bandwagon, so I don't know how much of a sleeper it really is, but he's still getting drafted at an ADP of 11.02, which I think is extremely low and amazing value for a guy that you can get in the flex. I think he's going to be a solid flex play every week. I mean, last year he finished with 59 receptions for 731 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now he's getting some help back with Odell and Saquon. I think those numbers will actually go up because he'll get more one-on-one coverage, and he's a good wide receiver. So I don't think it's like Odell's going to get all the balls. I think Sterling Shepard's going to be open enough that he's going to have 900 to 1,000 yards and probably 5-ish touchdowns. So, I mean, that's a solid flex player right there at 11.02. That's somebody I could see going, more like the 7th, 8th round.
Right. I think that's where, I think you could still get good value from him in the 7th or 8th round.
Yeah.
And like you said, the only reason I didn't take Sterling Shepard for my pick here is because I wanted us to have different people. So I found someone else. Otherwise, Shepard would have been my clear-cut number one. I'm going to talk about him a little bit more when I talk about my bust for this exact division. But yeah, Sterling Shepard, I mean, he's done good things since he's been in the league. And I don't even think about last year because the Giants were just a complete mess. People are predicting them to be one of the teams that bounces back and maybe even contend for that division or at least a wild card spot. I'm not going to go that far, but I think that they will improve. I think the offense is going to improve, and I think Shepard's going to be a big part of that. So, yeah, what do you say his current ADP was? 10th or 11th round?
11.02, yeah.
Yeah, so sign me up for all of the Sterling Shepard.
For sure. I'm getting that for sure.
Doing it for sure. My sleeper is also a receiver from that division. It's Jamison Crowder. His ADP is currently the 3rd pick in the 10th receiver, which makes him the 43rd ranked receiver. So he's playing with a new quarterback. Obviously, Alex Smith went there. He's a conservative, check down kind of guy.
Can't even say that anymore.
I know, and this is what I'm saying. I'm like, don't let last year fool you, because last year he wasn't that the entire time. But he had that straight line speed guy in Tyreek Hill. He's not going to have that anymore now in Washington, obviously. None of those guys even come close to fitting that mold. So I think he's going to return back to kind of that game manager way. I was really high on Jamison Crowder last year, and I'll admit I was wrong. He only had about 800 yards and 3 touchdowns. I was predicting closer to like the 1,000 yards, 7, 8 touchdown mark. So maybe I was a year early here, but I think due to the fact that Crowder did have a down year, it's going to drop him in the ADP, and now you're getting him in the 10th round. You're not forced to use him every single week. You can play matchups. And another great thing about Crowder is the Redskins have the easiest strength of schedule for wide receivers in 2018. So I like Shepard, but Crowder's kind of right there with me. I think he fits well with what Alex Smith is going to do there.
Yeah, I don't really know how to gauge how that Alex Smith is going to work out in Washington, so that wouldn't be a hard one for me to kind of predict until I kind of see what they do on the field, because he's new there. I mean, they have garbage wide receivers. Who know? I mean, I expect Washington to be really bad, and I'll talk about that. So, I mean, he could be one because they could be behind a lot, and they might have to throw the ball, and that could be an option, and he might be the number one target for him. I mean, I don't know who else he's going to throw it to.
Well, that's the thing. So you know who Alex Smith's number one target was all those years in Kansas City. It was the tight end option. Kelsey did 8.
Travis Kelce. Oh, yeah, I forgot about
so
Jordan
he does
Reed.
That with Jordan Reed. I love Jordan Reed, but if Jordan Reed gets hit in the head one more time, he's sitting here with us talking about football.
Yeah, I mean, he's not reliable at all.
That's why I would love Jordan Reed this year if I could guarantee even like 13 or 14 games. I don't need a full season. Like, I'll find someone else to plug in a couple of games. But, man, you just can't bank on that from Reed. That's why I think Crowder might be more of a reliable guy than a guy like Jordan Reed. I think Reed's almost the obvious pick, but I don't think he can do it just because of his injury history.
I don't trust him. I don't trust Gronk. I don't trust him. That's why I don't draft tight ends.
0 tight end, baby. DJ Patton.
0 tight end strategy, bitches.
All right, so that was our sleeper. Let's move on to your bust.
All right, well, I've made it pretty clear earlier when we talked rookies and running backs this year. I don't like Darius Geis. He's going at 3.09 for the aforementioned reason. I mean, they're going to be throwing a lot. I think they're going to be behind a lot. I think they're going to have to throw the ball to try to keep up with teams. And they're in a fucking good-ass division. They're playing against the Eagles and the Giants and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I had to think about it there for a second. You know,
it's like a good division, but it's just competitive enough. Like, none of those teams are like awesome. I mean, the Eagles obviously won the Super Bowl. But outside of that, you don't know where Wentz is going to be, but it might not matter if Foles keeps playing well. But yeah, you don't know what you're getting in that division. It's going to be just a lot of competitive teams.
Yeah, I just don't like his number one. I don't like his running style. We'll see if he stays healthy, but I just don't think he's going to get a lot of opportunity with being behind a lot, and I just don't think that they're going to be a great running team in general, like at all.
Well, the thing too, if you're drafting him in the end of the 3rd round, I mean, he's basically going to have to start from you every single week.
Yeah, 100%.
Unless you get a guy that can fill in there. So 1, do you want to put your faith in a rookie? 2, do you want to put your faith in a running back that plays for the Redskins on a team that they haven't really had a great running back that you would want to use in fantasy? I mean, Chris Thompson did fine, but he's more of a pass-catching kind of guy.
Yeah, exactly. And he's going to get a bunch of volume still because of his skill set. So.
Right. Do you think – I'm going to talk about this later, so I'm kind of spoiling what I wanted to say about a different person I'm going to talk about. But do you think Geis might be getting pumped up a little bit just because there's an unknown that he's a rookie and he's now going to maybe be the guy in line for a bulk load of carries, but you don't really know what you have, so there might be that boom potential. So if he's going in the 3rd round, he might just be getting propped out because of the fact that he's a rookie.
Yeah, people liked Matt Jones too, Ben, and who was the other guy? But they ended up being garbage. I can't trust a running. I don't like Geis. I don't like him, and yeah, I mean, people are really high on him. They are,
For
but
the record, I don't know
running
that I was
back.
ever super high on Matt Jones.
Okay, Matt Jones, you made me fucking draft that piece of shit. I hated him. I'm still mad at you for that. In
That's
that
just the
touchdown
Florida
beat.
connection, man. That's all that
Yeah,
is.
that was terrible. Worst decision you've ever made.
All right, let's go on to my bust. So I was. This is where I'm going to
Besides
tie
getting
it
married.
in. Where I'm tying it in with your Sterling Shepard because my bust is actually Evan Ingram of the Giants. Big fan of Ingram as an NFL player and as a fantasy player in the long run. But I think with the return of Odell Beckham, the addition of Saquon Barkley, a healthy Sterling Shepard, I think this is going to impact Ingram the most. He was putting up awesome numbers last year, but if you remember, we're like, how does he keep doing this? He's the only option. It's like they were force feeding him every single week. So yeah, he was going to get numbers. They didn't have Odell Beckham. They didn't have Brandon Marshall. They had Sterling Shepard for part of the year. They literally had zero run game. So I think Ingram this year, he's going to have some good weeks. Like I said, I like him as a player. But right now, his average draft position is early 6th round. I don't think that his numbers are going to warrant that kind of draft pick. That's really early for a tight end, in me and your opinion anyway. Some people, you want to get that player matchup advantage. So, yeah, you take the good tight end. And he is a good tight end, but all those mouths to feed, I think Ingram's targets are going to be dropped a little bit. He's going to have some good weeks, but overall the consistency's not going to be there to warrant the 6th round pick.
Yeah, 6.03 for a tight end's a joke, especially a second-year guy with all that weapons. Get that shit out of my face. That's awful.
Nice. I like
wouldn't.
that.
I don't even. Yeah,
right to the
that's
point.
ridiculous. 6.03 for a tight end. You're drafting him at 6.03. You're an idiot. You can plug in guys week to week and get as many points, more points week to week than what he'll get this next year. I guarantee it.
Safe to assume DJ will not own Evan Ingram at all this year.
Well, I have to go check.
All right, and with that quick break, DJ was on daddy duty, and he's back to talk about his sleeper in the NFC West.
Yeah, that was real subtle of me. Like, I have to go check.
I have to go check.
I could have just given you motions and made it a lot more seamless.
We'll edit
All
it
right,
out.
so what do we got here? NFC West, you said?
Yep.
Sleeper? My guy, Robert Woods. ADP of 9.04. 56 receptions last year for 781 yards and 5 touchdowns. He was out a couple of games. But to me, he's Jared Goff's most reliable target. So I just expect those numbers to be – I expect an uptick in those numbers. He was one of my best pickups. He helped me tremendously throughout the year to get some more wins when I picked him up when he was out on the free agency because he's just consistent guy getting targets. I expect those targets to jump up way more than 56
right.
just because he was out a couple of games. I would expect more like 80 to 100 targets for him. I know Brandon Cooks is there, and it sounds ridiculous, but who knows how he's going to fit in. I know lots of people are high on the white guy, Cooper Kupp. Cooper, 2 girls, 1 cup. But I like he's a model of consistency. He came in and his first year and had this kind of connection with Jared Goff that's just going to build more into this next year. I know people are super high on Jared Goff, and Brandon Cooks always working together, but Robert Woods has already established that connection with them. And at 9.04, he's another guy I would love to use as a flex position every week, which I was. So you're getting a wide receiver, like a low wide receiver 2, I think, high wide receiver 3 out of a guy that you're going to be grabbing great value in the 9th round.
It's hard to say anything bad about Robert Woods because when he came into the league, he's, like you said, he's just a consistent player. He does everything pretty good, nothing awesome. I mean, he's a really good route runner. He's pretty sure-handed.
Kind of came out of nowhere this year, too.
I would say the one thing that was maybe lacking was like a deep play ability, but there was times last year where he'd either get behind...
And a quarterback.
Yeah, and a quarterback. But he'd get behind the secondary and score from long, or he'd catch it short and take it the distance. So I think that kind of quieted a couple of...
He had a 90-something yard touchdown, I remember.
Yeah, and he's going still that late. And my bust pick for this division was between the guy I'm going to pick and Brandon Cooks, just because you don't know what you're going to get there. And you have so much more chemistry that's already built in between Goff and Woods that at that ADP, like you said, maybe you don't have to play him every single week, but when you do play him, whether it's a bye week or an injury or a flex play, I think it's a guy you can count on that's going to maybe like a floor of like 7 points, but man, he might have like a 20-point week for you and it wouldn't even be that surprising.
Yeah, he could be he can be a decent high target guy too this year. So I feel like in PPRs he could be even valued a little bit higher.
Definitely. My sleeper in this division, this is quite the sleeper, and I'm interested to see how you take this because it is a tight end, and I know
Yeah.
you're zero tight end theory, but I want you to hear me out on this one because this might be a guy that you could potentially target getting him late. George Kittle from the 49ers. His ADP right now, he's going at the tail end of the 12th round. He's the 13th tight end off the board. So all of your teams in front of you in a traditional 12-team league, if it goes as is, would already have a tight end, so you can sit back and wait. If you look at the last 3 weeks of last year, in a half-point PPR league, he had 7 points, which isn't great, obviously, but it'll get you by for that late-round tight end. And then he finished with back-to-back double digits. He had 11, and then he had 12. So I'm thinking if you don't get one of these top 3 tight ends, and then you look at the next row of guys, and it's kind of some hit-or-miss guys, maybe some injury-laden guys, I think you could wait and scoop up George Kittle late 12th, early 13th round. And yeah, maybe you're not going to start him every single week, but I think he'd be worthy of a streaming play, and I think he could put up some sneaky good numbers.
I'm not going to draft a guy named George Kittle who plays tight end. That's my analysis on him. People were hyping it up for a couple of weeks, especially on FanDuel. And the weeks that he was getting hyped up, he just kind of – I used him. I remember I plugged him in on FanDuel, and he put up a dud for me a couple times in a row. So I've got a little angst against him. I'm not I don't know what it's going to be like in San Francisco. Those kind of – I mean, probably a good sleeper pick at that 12.10. Obviously, I like Njoku I mentioned – I think a week or two ago.
Yep.
I'm going a little bit later than that with a guy who's going to be thrown as the tight ends, but I still think I can stream guys. I mean, if you're going to be looking at streaming him, yeah, but I don't know if he's a guy I draft.
All right, and like I said, you're kind of hit or miss on tight ends, so I don't know what you're going to end up doing with that one, but
I think Njoku's the only guy I want to grab.
Everyone's going to have a tight end before you can draft him. So even if you get one of the top tier guys, say you take a Gronk and you're like, oh shit, he is never guaranteed to play all the weeks. Yeah. Maybe you can get a Kittle a little bit later, and that's your backup guy, and you have a guy that could potentially put up tight end 1 numbers. I don't think that's out of reach because tight end 1 numbers are sort of misleading because is there 12 tight ends that are worth starting every single week? I feel like there's hit or miss guys that go throughout. So Kittle could easily finish in the top 10 in tight end. So getting him after everyone already has a tight end, I think that's why he's a sleeper for me. I like him there.
I might scoop him up when somebody drops him because they're sick of him after a few weeks, and pick him up for a week or two, and then drop him back onto that wire.
You're just a player of tight ends, man.
I ain't a player. I just crush a lot.
Nice. All right, who is your bust in the NFC West?
Fucking Rashad Penny going at 4.05. This is another team that I think Russell Wilson will probably just continue to put up huge numbers. He's going to throw the ball a lot. They're going to have to throw a lot. Like, their defense isn't good. They're going to be down a lot, it feels like, this year. And Russell Wilson's going to have to do pretty much everything. And from I don't know what it was I saw on Twitter, but Rashad Penny just can't pass block.
Right.
Like, at all. So I don't imagine he's going to be on the field. I almost feel like Chris Carson would be the guy you want to value a little bit more in what Seattle's going to have to do this year. You're relying on a rookie running back who can't block and a team that's going to have to pass to be running back 2 on your team. I don't think that's going to be good. I don't see this guy putting up points or playing very much in this offense this year just because of the situation I feel like they're going to be in and the fact that he can't pass block. So I don't think that's going to be a good situation for anybody as a running back too. So you guys can go ahead and grab him. I'm not touching him.
Yeah, that's what scares me about that too because, if he can't be on the field due to his pass blocking, that's another rookie that's just getting pumped up because of the great unknown. I feel like that could be the theory behind some of these rookie running backs. Yeah, Seattle shocked everybody. Took him in the first round. Oh, he's going to be the guy. He's going to get all the carries. Well, is he? I mean, you really have no idea. And even if he is, did you want the running back that's going to get a lot of carries in Seattle all these other years after Marshawn Lynch? You wanted nothing to do with those guys. So why do you automatically think that Penny's going to be this savior that comes in and can be the running back 2 that you're going to have to use all the time at that average draft position for your fantasy team? I don't get it.
When I see a circus, when I see teams with when you see that they're continually running through running backs,
right.
the Giants have been that way. The only reason I'm on the Giants is because Saquon Barkley is just a difference maker. But other teams like that are continuously going through running backs, I'm not going to get pumped up over a guy they got. I mean, everybody was all pumped up about Joe Mixon when he got drafted. Well, I mean, he didn't do anything last year.
Right.
So it's a team that just cycles through running backs. So unless you have an absolutely elite talent, which Rashad Penny is not, I don't believe that at all, then I don't think you're going to get what you expect out of this guy at 4.05. Shit. He's more of a 8 to 10 round guy, honestly.
I would like to disagree just so we could have like a little bit of one person on each side on this just to bring up the point, but I can't even play devil's advocate because I'm with you on that one. I think he's getting pumped up because he's a fresh face in a backfield that struggled.
Yeah, and everybody just expects volume on a team that's going to be throwing it. Russell Wilson's going to be like doing Russell Wilson things of last year. So
that's what he does.
It not getting me excited about the running back position. It gets me. I hate Russell, but I mean I can't. He's going to be a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, there's almost no way he's not, I wouldn't think.
Yeah. Him and Doug Baldwin, I think, are going to be great picks.
Right. My bust from this division. So I said I was between Brandon Cooks and one other player, and I decided to go with the other guy, and it's Jerick McKinnon as a bust.
Like the movie.
Hear me out, though. I'm going with McKinnon in this debate because his average draft position is 2 rounds higher than Brandon Cooks. McKinnon's currently going at the tail end of the 2nd round as the 14th running back off the board. So that's a high-end running back, too. One of our authors, Ryan Miner, I want to give him a shout-out because he did a fantasy football profile on McKinnon. He brought up some good points. Number 1, if McKinnon was so good, why is he only getting his chance now in year 5? Point 2, McKinnon's never been asked to shoulder the entire load, and people expect all these touches from him. So how is he going to react to that, and how is he going to hold up? And 3, McKinnon scored a lot of his fantasy points receiving last year, and when Jimmy Garoppolo took over for the 49ers, Carlos Hyde's receiving numbers dropped last year. So you might not be getting that out of McKinnon unless maybe they try to adapt to the running back skill set, which is definitely a chance. But those are what last year's numbers say. So, I mean, I like the addition of McKinnon to the 49ers in real football, but the fantasy football hype right now is just a little too high for me. So if you're taking him in late round 2, early round 3, you're likely starting him every single week.
Yeah.
And McKinnon has the hardest strength of schedule for running backs this season. That's way too rich for me. I don't think that I'm going to end up with McKinnon, even though right away I'm like, oh, McKinnon to the 49ers. I'm on the hype train. I've slowly just climbed down that ladder, and I think I'm on it now.
Good, because I have not been an advocate of Jerick McKinnon at all.
Look at us agreeing again.
I know, it's terrible. But, like, honestly, I do like his explosiveness, but he's a matchup guy who's going to put up a couple of good games, but not enough to warrant a 2.10 pick where he's probably maybe your running back 1, unless you go running back.
Yeah.
Then he's your 2nd running back. But if you go wide receiver at the 10th pick in the 1st round or whatever, wherever you're at in the 1st round, then he's your running back 1, and that's a guy who. I mean, why do we forget about Matt Breida? Is he just not existing anymore?
I don't know. That was Ryan's point. Like, take that guy.
They like him. Like they obviously like him somewhat there. Right. I mean, they kept giving him the ball with Carlos Hyde, and I always got confused because I thought Carlos Hyde was the better running back. So I don't know that they're not going to use Matt Breida, who also can catch the ball. No. So I can't. 2.10 is way too rich for my blood for a guy that could be scoring a majority of his points in 2 or 3 games.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. With that strength of schedule, if he's going to have all these tough matchups and he's your guy at running back, you're going to be disappointed. I loved that article from Ryan. Check that one out on our website, loadedboxpodcast.wordpress.com. See all of our fantasy profiles there. But, yeah, I'm with Ryan on that one. He really influenced that pick for me on that. With that, let's move on to your team's division, the NFC North. Let's start with your sleeper pick.
I thought maybe you would tell people to check out the fantasy profiles on Flipboard. This thing that I don't understand at all.
No one does, but it's great.
If you guys know what Flipboard is, hit me up because I'm so confused by it. Jesus Christ, I don't even like the name of it. It's so I don't know.
We're on
I can't
Flipboard.
get
I
into
don't
it.
know the I don't know our address for it, but search
I don't even
Loaded
know what it
Box and
means.
you'll
Like, do
find
we
it.
have a? Is it there a username? Like, is it just like Loaded Box on Flipboard? Is there other people? Is there like a feed or a timeline? What is it?
I don't know, but we've influenced people to look into it now because of all the
Apparently.
great unknown.
Yeah, check us out on Flipboard, baby. And then you guys tell me what it looks like.
Yeah, why don't you tell us how to use it?
All right, so what am I doing now?
You're doing a sleeper in the NFC North, you hungover
I've
old
got
man.
2 sleepers for you guys because I'm going to keep pushing this one guy on you. I'm going to keep pushing him. I'm going to keep pushing him until you get sick of it and you guys don't draft him so that I can get him. I'm going to keep pushing Aaron Jones, obviously, homer pick, 7.07. But, I mean, it is, I guess it's somewhat of a homer pick. Lots of people like Jamal Williams. Other people like Ty Montgomery. I'm just putting my flag in his camp here. 7.07. I have said everything I'm going to say about this guy every fucking week. It seems like I talk about Aaron Jones. He's going to end up being, though, he's the most explosive. He can catch the ball. He's a great pass blocker. People forget that. People don't realize that. They try to use that as against him and try to use that as a talk about Jamal Williams. But he's also a very good pass blocker, and he works really well with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, his best games were those first few games with A-Rod before he got injured. He just dominated a couple of games there. He's easily the best running back in this team. And Ty Montgomery is going to be used in matchup at times, or used to create matchup problems. And Jamal Williams, I feel like, might get phased out a little bit because Aaron Jones is better at the goal line too. Like Jamal Williams had the issue where he was just running straight into the hole and just getting stuffed up. Where Aaron Jones was picking and finding his hole and was better at the goal line when he got that opportunity. So he's gonna be an RB2 this year. I'm almost guaranteeing it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna guarantee it.
so then
I'm guaranteeing RB2.
Then it probably won't happen. But I will not say anything. I won't say too much about that because we've talked about Aaron Jones quite a bit on the pod. But
a lot of nothing.
Yeah, I mean, any running back that's going to get the bulk of the work in an offense that has the potential to be in the top 5, yeah, he should finish as an
gonna be in the red zone
high
constantly.
RB2. The one probably bad thing is just remember how efficient Aaron Rodgers is as a passer of touchdowns in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that from a lot of quarterbacks. Usually when you get into the red zone, especially inside that 5-yard line, you're like, all right, it's fantasy football running back time. That is not the case with the Packers. The Packers pass the ball or Rodgers runs it in. Yeah. So that's going to take a little bit away. But, yeah, I mean, at Jones's average draft position, if you're picking between the 3, I think he's going to be on the field more. I think he's the better running back of the 3 options that they're currently toying around with. So, yeah, without further ado, it's the second time I've said that. It's a weird thing to say twice in one podcast.
Yeah, it is weird that you said that at all. It didn't feel right there.
I'm with Jones. It didn't feel right there, did it?
Yeah, no, it feels like you're like you use that to like intro.
I'm
like,
going to say it again later in the
intro
podcast.
someone.
I'll make sure that it fits
But,
in.
And Aaron Rodgers is smart enough to use that to his advantage, though. Like Peyton Manning, with his running backs when he was playing for the Colts, they scored a tremendous amount of touchdowns inside the 10-yard line because people expect him to throw the ball. So he's going to use that to his advantage, where he's not going to be selfish enough to not get the ball to Aaron Jones when everybody's expecting him to throw the ball, even though he is amazing in the red zone. Yeah. He's at least going to give him one opportunity, probably on first down every now and then when they're in that red zone area, and maybe inside the 10-yard line. And I think that could be another area that's an uptick is rushing touchdowns for the Packers this year. So
it has to be. Gosh, it has to be.
Yeah, it has to be, right?
Did you say you had 2 sleepers?
Yeah, I had
division?
another one.
All right.
And I've been talking about this guy,
pick.
Mitch Trubisky.
Mitchell Trubisky?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Love him. Love me some Mitchell, man. I'm going to have all shares of Mitchell Trubisky this year. Shit, he might be my number 1 quarterback. I don't know. I might stack quarterbacks just in that area, like Mitch Trubisky and Tyrod Taylor in back-to-back rounds. I'm not above that. I'll do it.
It's going late with the quarterbacks. One of them will break out.
But I think at 14.03, this is a guy I honestly can see being inside the top 10. I love all the additions with Matt Nagy, 2 great tight ends, Allen Robinson, Anthony Miller, Jordan Howard, and Tyreek Cohen. They're going to open it up, and I think they're going to be throwing the ball, and they're going to have to playing against the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers, and the Minnesota Vikings. So, I mean, that ball is going to be in the air, and it's going to be in the air a lot. I'm real excited about Mitch Trubisky. I've got no numbers. I'm not going to talk about his numbers from last year because he just handed the ball off. But this is literally just straight up gut with everybody they got coming in there. I'm a huge Trubisky advocate, and I fucking hate the Bears. So
all right, let me go into my bust for the NFC North before I go into my sleeper because it ties into Mitch. Trubisky, and now we're finally going to disagree.
Good.
Because my bust is Allen Robinson.
Yeah, you'll bust in your face.
I hope not. He is going as the 11th pick in the 4th round. That's wide receiver 20. So don't get me wrong, love Allen Robinson, the player. He tore it up with the Jaguars 2 years ago with Blake Bortles. And you know how I feel about Blake Bortles.
He's awesome.
Sorry, that probably hurt people's ears.
Yeah,
I just think Robinson in fantasy football is going too high as a player on a new team. He's coming off season-ending injury last year. He's playing with a second-year quarterback who really wasn't trusted in year one to throw it around that much. So last pick in the 4th round, a little rich. He is my wide receiver 21, so I'm not super low on him. I'm not outright avoiding him. All right, I'm a fan. But the ingredients are in place for him to be a potential bust based on going late 4th, early 5th. That's why I'm just not totally comfortable with that situation yet.
I think that's a perfect spot for him. I would love to get him as a wide receiver 2 when he could potentially be a wide receiver 1 in the late 4th round. I love that there. And like I said, I love that offense. I will gladly take it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to draft Blake Bortles, Mr. Trubisky back-to-back, and then I'm going to get Allen Robinson in the 4th round, and I'm going to beat you every week.
And you're going to end up with – didn't you say you were going to get Jordan Howard too? And
I might get Jordan Howard. I'm not as high as I was last year on Jordan Howard, but I'm not like down on him. He's going right where he should.
And then you can stream Shaheen and Burton. You can play the hot hand.
Yeah, I'll do what I got to do. I might be just drafted as many Bears and Jaguars as possible this year.
Well, I'm glad we're in some leagues together. This could be fun.
Leonard Fournette will be my running back. I'm really upset that I didn't get Fournette last year, so I might be a little more aggressive this year on Fournette.
Yeah, you told the audience last year you were going to get Fournette in almost every league.
And Devontae Adams, and I didn't get either one of them.
Yeah.
And I would have been awesome with those two.
You're a downright liar. That's what you are.
Yeah.
You're an old drunk liar at this point.
And the 2 guys I got that I said I was going to get were Isaiah Crowell. Fuck that guy for the rest of my life, and Jordan Howard, which was good. But.
Right. All right, so that was my bust. Let's go to your bust, and then we'll bounce back to my sleeper.
Oh, people are going to hate this. People are going to be texting you, this fucking TJ guy, he's a piece of shit. Kirk Cousins going in.
You struck a nerve.
I did. Kirk Cousins at 7.06. We got Vikings fans, friends, podcast partners over at Beerfield Fantasy Football that are Vikings fans that'll probably get mad at me. Too high for. I just think there's a lot of guys getting drafted way after him, that are gonna outscore him this year. For example, I'm gonna say Jared Goff, Andrew Luck if healthy, Matt Stafford, Mr. Trubisky I put on that list, and Phillip Rivers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I put Mr. Trubisky on it. You heard here first. So I mean, you can get value with those guys in 12th, 13th round or whatever. Kirk Cousins is on a team that's gonna control the ball. They're going to play really good defense. They're going to run it. They're going to not want to turn it over because of how good their defense is. And plus, he doesn't really – I mean, his whole stigma, his career is not scoring in the red zone. Like, he just doesn't. It's like his biggest downfall. And, I mean, I'm not going to reach for him at 7.06. I know he's been a high quarterback in a team that's had a high volume of throws. That's where he's had to do that at the Redskins. R-word, sorry, fuck. God damn it. At the R-words, but at the Vikings, it's not going to be the same. And so we'll see how that fits, but I don't want him at 7.06. I just think that's too high for me on a new team that's going to run and play defense a lot. So
I like your reasons, all right? I do like your reasons. I understand it. It warrants respect.
He's not going to have 4,000 passing yards.
I don't think you said anything that's totally out of line, but I am going to disagree with you. And here's why. Because where did you say he was going? 7th round?
Yeah.
If you can lock up 3 running backs and 3 receivers in your first 6 picks, and Cousins is there, and if he's the next best quarterback on there, I think that is the perfect location to land him. Because maybe he won't throw for all those yards, but I do think he's going to end up with more touchdowns this year, just because in general, I think the Vikings offense is more complete and set to compete at a higher offensive level than what the Redskins were at. There is a better running game in Minnesota that, they're going to take some stats away, they're going to take some touchdowns, but it's going to be a more fluid offense, and I think it's going to make Cousins not have to shoulder so much of the load. He's going to cut down on his interceptions. I think his touchdown numbers go up. He's got a good tight end that he can feed in Rudolph. And then he's got Thielen and Diggs on the outside. He hasn't played with like a trio like that, even in Washington. So I think his touchdown numbers have to increase. I don't have any issue with Cousins being my QB1 in the 7th round.
If I'm not getting Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady right away, I am not grabbing a quarterback at 7.06. I'm rating round 11, 12, something like that. I'm not grabbing a guy there. If I'm not getting elite, I'm going at a guy that can get late, that can possibly put up numbers like Kirk Cousins.
Right.
And like I said, I think his yards will drop dramatically. I really do. I think you can see like 1,000 yards less passing out of him. And I think the touchdowns will stay around the same. I think they'll be around like the 25-ish area. I don't think it'll be any ticks. So that's not. I don't think that's in my prediction of his numbers. It's obviously the wouldn't warrant a 7.06. And I honestly, this is just a gut feeling, but I just think he's gonna throw. I think he's gonna be the new Jay Cutler. I think he's gonna throw a ton of interceptions to the Packers. It's gonna be
to
great.
The Packers.
Yeah, just the Packers.
So part of what you said before that is what I do agree with, because if you can wait another 3 or 4 rounds and get a guy like Derek Carr, Matt Stafford, Phillip Rivers, and you think that he's going to put up those similar numbers, then yeah, go ahead and wait. I can't disagree with that part, but I think Cousins might be a tier ahead of those guys. So in my rankings, yeah, I think his ADP warrants that selection, but I get it. If you think that those other guys below are in the same tier as Cousins, then go ahead and wait. So, like I said, I'm not going to agree with you, but I understand why you feel the way you do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be right always, but we can't wait.
All right.
I wish I could keep jotting these down. We'll remember.
Yeah, you can. It's not like it's illegal for you to jot things down. You can write things down.
I know I can, but I just I'm too lazy to do it.
You're old
but I'll remember anyways.
All right, without further ado, we got to get back
damn
to
it.
my sleeper pick in the NFC North. And I want to see how you feel about this one, because it's a guy from your squad. It's the slot machine in Randall Cobb.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see this. Randall Cobb has only broke 1,000 yards and double-digit touchdowns twice. Might have been once. I think I might have wrote that down wrong. In his 7-year career. So he's really never had like a huge... He's had like one boom season. Other than that, it's been a lot of mediocrity.
He was a top 10 fantasy guy, I think 2 years, actually.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was twice.
Yeah.
Besides that, though, there was always been so much hype that he's going to return to that. He's going to do that every single year. I think that thought has kind of faded a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I think people are feeling that way just because, he's the target with Rodgers. And I think that's fading down because he's played with Rodgers for so long, but those like awesome numbers, like what Nelson was putting up, like what Adams can put up, just haven't really come there. So now you're looking at Cobb, who's coming off of back-to-back seasons with less than 700 receiving yards and only 4 touchdowns. And now his average draft position is late 7th, early 8th. I'm thinking that he can provide enough value to warrant that pick. Also, those last 2 years didn't play a full 16-game season. So if he's healthy, if Devontae Adams regresses a little bit, maybe not in yards, but even touchdowns. If Rodgers can play 16 games, Randall Cobb should end up with around 850, 900 yards, 8 touchdowns, and that's pretty solid production out of a spot play receiver or a flex option that you're getting late 7th, early 8th. So I think Cobb, I don't want to say he is the receiver to own in Green Bay because I think enough people have been fooled by that. I think Adams is still your guy, but I don't think you need to get super pissed off if you need to settle for Cobb, because you're getting a guy who has that potential for nearly 1,000 yards, nearly 10 touchdowns in a full season, and you're getting him 6 to 7 rounds later potentially.
What round is that? 7.1?
He's going 10th pick in the 7th round.
Yeah, 7.10. Yeah, I can't disagree with. The other thing I disagree with is Adams is probably going to have 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns this year, so he might be wide receiver 1 overall. But Randall Cobb is a guy that Aaron Rodgers trusts, and Aaron Rodgers is, if you know anything about Aaron Rodgers, he's big on trust. He doesn't have Jordy now. He's going to be the number 2 wide receiver. Jimmy Graham's obviously going to get some touchdowns in there. But he's going to be a guy that he's going to go to on 3rd down. That guy that you see when Rodgers, does his amazing stuff where he bakes out of the pocket inside the 20-yard line, runs around for a little bit. That's when Cobb will come through and score a touchdown. He'll score. I mean, you can get high wide receiver 2 numbers out of Cobb, I think, this year with the Aaron Rodgers fully healthy. It's a perfect sleeper. I mean, he can support 3 guys.
Right.
Being Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Jimmy Graham, can be top 5, and Devontae can be top 5 at his position, and Randall can be top 15. Like, he's that good that he can do it, where he's done it before with like guys like Jordy Nelson, Greg Jennings, and Jermichael Finley.
Right.
So it's just another situation where that can happen.
Yeah, like you said, well, wasn't it only like a matter of a couple of years ago where Adams
got the gray pants.
Gray pants. Where Adams and Nelson, didn't they both finish in like the top 15 just a couple of years ago?
Yeah, or Cobb and Nelson finished in the top 10 not too long ago.
Yeah,
actually.
Exactly. So it's like it's not asking too much, and if you're getting that out of a guy that you can use as a flex play, dude, he might end up being a starting guy.
They both scored double-digit touchdowns.
Right.
Actually,
it just comes
Nelson
down to injuries with Cobb, I feel like. Because he's going to get opportunities in that offense. Because we talk about Aaron Jones, we both like him, but they're a pass-first offense. You know they are.
Oh, God. They have to be. They have Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers is like all about like I mean, yeah, he makes things happen in the pocket, and somehow someone ends up wide open, or he throws a Hail Mary against the Lions and wins the game, whatever. He's still like a rhythm, quick passer, like improvised kind of guy, and that's what Cobb can create out of the slot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. He's literally maybe the best quarterback against the blitz. He loves letting people come at him, and Cobb's gonna have that trust with him on those type of issues in the slot. He's quick, so he's gonna be like his Wes Welker for Tom Brady. So he's a guy he trusts. Rodgers is huge on trust. You cannot make that statement enough.
Right.
So he's just a guy he's going to look to go to in those type of situations. Obviously he's going to love Devontae. He's a guy he trusts as well. But he's been with Cobb for a long fucking time.
Right. Nope, I agree. Let's wrap it up here with the NFC South. Let's go to your sleeper pick.
Shit, dog. All right. My sleeper here is my bus is gonna really throw people off here.
P.S.
My
this
sleeper
was my hardest division. I started with the NFC
this
South.
This is the one that took me a while, but I actually like my sleeper, and actually haven't heard anybody talk about this guy. Devin Funchess at 7.06. He's a guy that I think last year he went for 840 yards and 8 touchdowns. That put him at wide receiver 21, I believe I wrote down here. So that's a number 2 wide receiver with Cam Newton. I know they drafted DJ Moore this year, but it's kind of a learning curve for rookie wide receivers. Definitely. I've said this over and over again, and it keeps proving it. I keep proving it right every year. He's not going to be his go-to target. Devin Funchess is. So he's going to have one more year where he's the number 1 wide receiver. Even though he's not a number 1 wide receiver, he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver on that team. He's got that relationship with Cam already. Obviously, DJ Moore is going to get some passes to him, but like I said, I mean, Greg Olson's out there as well, but Devin Funchess is going to probably be just around similar numbers there. 840 yards, 8 touchdowns. I wouldn't be surprised to see like the exact same numbers this upcoming year. He can be a wide receiver too that you're getting at 7.06. Yeah. That's a third. That's a flex spot, probably streaming flex spot every week in and week out for just a normal pick. I think you can play him and plug him in your lineup every single week and have some consistency out of him.
Funchess is the kind of guy that I do not like as an NFL wide receiver, especially as a wide receiver 1, but I don't mind in fantasy.
And he's a good red zone target, man.
Exactly, just the size mismatch that he creates. So he's one of those guys that I think he's going exactly where he needs to go. If he's going midway in the 7th.
It does make sense, but...
Yeah, but if you're going to get that potential, I mean, he's nearly 1,000 yards and nearly 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's going to outplay. I probably agree with where he's going, but I think he's going to outplay that draft pick.
He easily can. I mean, the thing is, so they bring in C.J. Anderson, who I know I don't want to talk about him right now. McCaffrey's probably going to get a bump in touches. That's fine. He deserves it. DJ Moore, yep, he's the sexy name. He was the high-round draft pick. He has the makings of probably the number 1 receiver at some point. Let's look maybe like 2 or 3 years down the road. If he can become the number 1 and Funchess is the number 2, then I really like that pairing. I just don't want Funchess to be my number 1. I'm talking about NFL here. I don't want him to be my number 1 guy. I want DJ Moore to be my number 1 guy. And then I want Funchess to be my number 2.
Anybody with the name DJ, really.
Yeah, anyone, right. So, I can't disagree with that. I'm not seeking out Funchess, but if you want to consider him
I think I just convinced myself. Yeah, I mean, after looking at it, I was like, holy shit, Devin Funchess. Looking at his numbers, looking at the fact that DJ Moore is going to be in his first year. People are probably going to expect him to take away targets, but I don't think he is at all. If anything, I think his yards might go up. And his TDs will stay around the same. So I'm like, shit, that's a great pick at 7.06.
And the thing is,
I really like it. Got me excited.
If the hype surrounding DJ Moore keeps growing too,
Yeah.
that's just going to end up kind of dropping Funches. Maybe not a ton, but even a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you can get Funches in the 8th, yeah, sleeper pick.
He's not a sexy name, so you can like easily be the guy to get him right there, because people are just they're gonna see Devin Funchess and they're gonna see some other names they like and at running back or other wide receivers, and they're gonna grab that guy because Devin Funchess is just not a sexy name. People are just gonna draft him lower because of his name. Period.
I disagree.
It's just not a name that you want to draft.
I think Fun Cheese might be the sexiest name in the NFL, because if you're having fun with cheese in the bedroom, that's sexy.
Fun Cheese, baby. Yeah, I mean, it's not a sexy football, like, whatever, popular name.
Gotcha. All right, you're going to hate my sleeper. I'm telling you now. And okay. I've got a couple of reasons here, so let me educate you, all right?
Educate.
It's a rookie.
Oh,
my favorite rookie.
It's garbage.
It is Calvin Ridley.
You can't get off this guy's nuts.
Can't. Him and Corey Davis, man. If I could start a franchise, those are my guys.
Ground.
Ridley is going at the 7th pick in the 10th round. Wide receiver 45. I see a lot of people loving Mohamed Sanu right now. In my opinion, Mohamed Sanu is exactly what he has done every single year in the NFL, which is around 700 receiving yards, 3 to 5 touchdowns, and a passing touchdown.
Yeah, perfect. That's awesome. That's double points in our touchdown league.
Yes, but he's not going to produce more than that. So here's the reason why I like Calvin Ridley. And this is going to sound weird right away, so let me elaborate. I think Julio Jones' touchdown numbers increase. Julio Jones is a clear number 1 wide receiver. Stop hating on Julio. Don't be fooled. Don't let him drop. Pick that guy with
Unless confidence. He doesn't play.
I'm going to put the holdout in the rear view. Let's not worry about contracts right now. We're talking fantasy.
We're talking fantasy.
I love Julio.
Not the game.
Devontae Freeman. He has a nice year if he stays healthy. Tevin Coleman, he will be fine. He's in a contract year. It'll be interesting to see how they utilize him.
Just keep saying names.
Outside of them, that's a lot of people I named. Ridley is going to be the next guy in Atlanta. Calvin Ridley is a technician at wide receiver. You've got these 2 guys at running back that the defenses have to worry about.
I don't want him at all if he's in the
Would you stop interrupting me? You'll have the chance to talk here in a second.
A technician.
Technician. That's what they should put on the back of his jersey. Technician.
I don't want him then.
You got 2 running backs that defenses need to worry about. You got Julio Jones, who you're going to double with a corner and a safety. Calvin Ridley is already polished enough as a wide receiver to take advantage of an opposing team's defense 2nd, 3rd, or potentially even 4th best pass defender. Ridley, as a rookie, has a chance for 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. If he can come even close to that, he's a great sleeper midway through the 10th. Don't worry about Mohamed Sanu. Don't draft one of those tight ends. Draft Julio. Be fine with a running back. Take Calvin Ridley midway through the 10th. You'll thank me after week 3.
I'm not drafting Calvin Ridley at all. I'm 100% going to disagree with you on this. Mohamed Sanu is going to be the second wide receiver there. He's going to put up better numbers than Calvin this year. He's a rookie. He's not ready. If he's a technician, he's not in the right job then. I don't want a technician at wide receiver. I want a wide receiver at wide receiver. So you just argued against yourself there. I fucking go get a job at, I don't know, GM or something. He doesn't belong on the Falcons if he's a technician. There's too many mouths. There's just too many mouths. He's not gonna be fed. I mean, he might have one good game this year. It's gonna be like Devontae Adams rookie year. He's gonna have like that one good game, maybe 2. They maybe bust out in year 2 or 3, but this is not it. And then Matt Ryan's his quarterback. So I don't know how you're gonna be confident with anybody who has Matt Ryan as their quarterback. Plus the fact that Julio's gonna get that contract and just demand the ball be thrown to him because he's making that much money. Fuck. Calvin Ridley is not even going to exist in this offense.
I just wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if it's in terms of receiving touchdowns. Julio's going to end up with about 11 or 12. I really think he's going to bounce back this year. I think Ridley's that next guy with 8. And I think
you're
look
early.
at Sanu, he's got
early,
like 3.
Just like Corey Davis.
I think Sanu's going to end up with like 3. He'll throw for 2. Sanu's going to throw into Ridley.
No, but he throws it to Julio and Julio only. But you can have, this is going to be this year's Corey Davis for you. I'm telling you right now. You're all excited about him.
I am.
You're a year off. Corey Davis is going to dominate this year. Calvin Ridley's not going to do anything until year 2 or 3. You're off a year. It's just, you keep doing this to yourself, and I hate to watch you do it.
Well, I'm glad that you're looking out for my well-being.
Yeah.
But without further ado, let's move on to your bust.
If you fucking say further ado one more time in your entire life, I'm ending you before your wedding. So we got these gray pants. Ben, let's tell a little story here. Story time. What? Story time. Wedding story time. So Ben originally keeps changing his mind. My son's in his goddamn wedding, and it's been
I don't think you can say GD and wedding in the same sentence.
Yeah, it's been a mess, and it's just been a mess with my son's situation because he's the ring bearer. And I was originally told, oh, he's going to wear like a Packers jersey. Well, that's not happening. And then I was like, oh, the tux he wore for his other wedding is going to be fine. And all of a sudden, a week ahead of time, they're like, oh, he needs gray pants, gray shirt, gray this, and everything. So we had to go buy brand new things for this kid, and we had to order a gray pants that just got in off of Amazon last minute because these shitheads wait until a week before the wedding in order to tell us that he needs gray pants when we're already set up with a tux that we thought was going to work.
So what, you want to order it? You want to order it 3 months in advance and have them grow out of it? If anything, I did you a favor. These things are going to fit for the next 6 months.
He's been the same size for the last 3 months. So everything actually he's wearing is actually all the same size.
You're welcome. He just got new pants for Christmas. You're welcome.
God, I hate you guys so much.
All right. So I'm
and if anybody out there wants to write a speech for this wedding, give it to me. Thanks.
There you go. We should just play a podcast during your speech.
We should. That'd be awesome.
All right. So I'm the bust in my wedding. Who's your bust in the NFC South?
Unpopular opinion, but Drew Brees.
Ooh. You struck a nerve.
5.08. Last year, I think, again, this is a sexy name that everybody's really high on. But they have to realize a lot of things here. He put up 4,334 yards, which is a decent output, but not for him. And 23 touchdowns. That's the lowest output. Yeah, that's the lowest output of both those things since he played with the Chargers.
Crazy.
The Chargers. That's the lowest number of passing yards and touchdowns he's had since the Chargers.
Some of our listeners might not even realize that he played for the Chargers. That was such
like
a long time ago.
12 years ago. Unbelievable. What's happening with this offense is he's getting older. They've got a star running back at Kamara. They got another great running back at Ingram. They got a defense that just improved dramatically last year. He doesn't need to do it all, and they're showing that they can do it multiple ways. And he's getting to that age where he can't just whip it around as much as he used to. I think you're going to see similar numbers. I think you're going to see 4,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, and Kamara and Ingram doing a lot of work. Michael Thomas is going to put up decent numbers, but otherwise, I don't think you're going to see wide receivers on that team put up big numbers besides Michael Thomas. It's going to be a lot of Kamara, a lot of Ingram, and a lot of defense. It's not going to be like a 30-point scoring team.
Right.
What?
Not like vintage Drew Brees with the Saints.
Yeah, it's not going to be what you guys are used to seeing out of Drew Brees. It's going to be more, I honestly believe they're going to continue because they showed that they can win this way. They should have been in the NFC Championship game. If not the Super Bowl. It was that a miracle play that somehow happened to lose with Marcus Williams or whatever his name is. That they're going to continue that. Obviously, that worked for them. The passing in the past just hasn't been. They found a good formula here because Drew Brees throwing for 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns wasn't. I mean, when they win that Super Bowl 10 years ago?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Yeah,
yeah, it was
but ever since then,
ago.
It hasn't been.
They haven't
the key, right?
It hasn't been a consistent playoff team, consistently winning the playoffs at all. And now they found a new formula with great running backs and throwing it only when necessary. So he can still do that, but he can't whip it around like he used to. 5.08 is expecting him to be able to put up those huge numbers, I think.
That's a great point because everyone sees, Drew Brees, and he's all these stats. And, yeah, it just wasn't working. The Saints were continually a team that was underperforming. I never thought about it that way before, but, yeah, you're spot on with that. I'm not quite as low on Brees, but, yeah, as you are anyways. But I understand your hesitancy by taking him in the 5th round because, if you're not going to get Brady,
you're taking him in the 5th round.
Wilson, like if you're not grabbing one of those guys early, maybe you wait till the 7th and take a guy like Kirk Cousins, or you wait till the 10th or 11th and take like a Stafford or a Rivers, because you're not getting that top tier quarterback. But yet, if you're going to take this guy in the 5th, you're taking a chance away from taking a mid, probably like tier 2 running back or a tier 2 wide receiver who you're going to need in your lineup every single week. Not saying you don't need a quarterback, because obviously you do. but the quality of quarterback that you're going to get little bit later is significantly lower than the quality of that running back or receiver that you're going to have to settle for if you pass on him there. So I understand the point. If you're going to take Drew Brees, you're in a really weird position having to take him in the 5th round. It's a really awkward position for me anyways to take a quarterback if I want to try to build the team the way that I want to build my fantasy team.
So what I think is happening here is you're getting the Peyton Manning area of where Drew Brees is in his career. He's going to be the smart guy that can orchestrate the offense, but they're going to have
beat you with the defense.
They're going to win off the defense and the running game, and the fact he'll toss some balls out to Kamara and he's going to make plays out of that. Right. But I just think you're getting to a different part of Drew Brees' career where you're not going to get that 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns like he put up, not too long ago. So, when you're drafting him at 5.08, you're expecting Aaron Rodgers numbers. You're expecting Tom Brady, Russell Wilson numbers at 5.08 because that's about where those guys are going to go if you're in a decent league. Right. And you're not going to get that out of them.
Yeah, we're going to have to update our positional rankings here pretty soon, probably within the next month or so before training camps and everything start. And I could see myself, I'm pretty high on Brees right now. I've kind of taken the same path you have recently, and I think I could see him being one of my guys that I'm going to drop. Maybe not totally out of the top 5 for quarterbacks, but right around that 5-6 range. But yeah, little too early in the ADP for me if I'm going to build the team the way that I would want to. So Brees is your bust. My NFC South bust is a rookie. It's Ronald Jones. His average draft position right now is the 5th pick in the 5th round. That's RB26. For comparison's sake, my rankings, I have him RB40.
Jesus Christ, that's a little low.
Real low on him. So, and this is what I was alluding to earlier about when you were talking about guys. Literally ask yourself, are you going to take a Tampa Bay Buccaneers running back if they would have added a veteran in free agency and not taken Ronald Jones at that current ADP? Are you going to take that free agent in the 5th round and make him be your starter if his name isn't Ronald Jones, if he's not a rookie? I don't think people would. And I think Jones, along with Geis, they're being bumped up because that person's in line to be the main guy, get carries, and the fact that he's a rookie, and then there's the fact that unknown where he could be a boom pick. Is he Zeke Elliott? Is he Jordan Howard? Is he Leonard Fournette? Is he Kamara? You're asking yourself so many what-ifs, and people are bumping them up because of the recent success of rookie running backs, and I don't think it's going to be there with Ronald Jones. So I think you're taking him really high. I think he can be a good player, but if I can get him in round 8, by all means. But I'm not going to get him in round 8, so I don't see myself owning him. In round 5, you're asking him to be an every-week starter. That's a lot to ask for a rookie, even more to ask for a rookie running back playing in Tampa Bay who's not even used to bulk carries. So not for me. I see him as a good player, but rookie year, 5th round, Tampa Bay running back, I'm thinking that he'll bust.
I like Rojo, actually. He's a guy that I may target a little bit. I guess I think he's going to drop a little bit because Jameis Winston. I think his ADP you will see drop because Jameis Winston's out for those 3 games. But I think with all the weapons, I expect that offense to be explosive, and I expect him to be a part. I really think that offense is going to bounce back, but now we have to wait for Jameis to get back probably. If he doesn't get any less games or whatever, because right now, what is it, 3 games?
They're talking 3. Some people are saying that it might get reduced to 1, but everything's kind of up in the air. It sounds like a suspension is going to happen, 1 to 3 weeks.
You got to eat that W. So, I don't know. I think he could be just another cog in the offense that I actually do expect to be explosive in a high-scoring division in general. I'm kind of high on Ronald Jones, so I'm not gonna agree with you there. I might be grabbing him around. I think, like I said, I think if he does get suspended 3 games, Jameis, you'll see his ADP drop a little bit. But I don't know. I like him.
Like I said, if I can snag him in the 8th, I would take a chance on him. I mean, I don't totally hate him, but I just don't. Even a slide in ADP isn't going to bump him 3 rounds, and 8th is probably where I'm comfortable taking him because then he's not going to be a guy that you have to rely on every week. He can be a flex, a guy that you play based on matchups. And yeah, I'd feel a little bit more comfortable with him there, but he wasn't the rookie running back I thought they would take. I think they made a bit of a mistake there, and I think it might carry over into fantasy. And for me, it's just way too rich. I don't like the 5th for him.
Yeah, look, I'm probably only going to take one fucking rookie running back because I get too scared of taking too many rookies because you just don't know when you're going to get out of there. So you got to go with ones you're confident in. So I'm probably going to end up with someone like a Sony Michel.
I would
rather than Ronald Jones.
Much rather take Michel over Jones.
Yeah.
It's not even close for me. It's not even close for me.
And I think Sony Michel is going lower than that for ADP. So I'd much rather end up with Sony than him.
Yeah.
But I think he should be around the same ADP as Sony. I think they should probably flip-flop spots, actually.
Right. Nope. No disagreement for me there. Any other guys you want to highlight?
Nope.
All
I just know that Calvin Ridley is in the wrong job.
Calvin Ridley is a technician.
Technician.
All right. Without any further ado, check us out on Twitter at LoadedBox. Check out our website, loadedboxpodcast.wordpress.com, for our latest blogs, fantasy rankings, podcast, everything that we do. It goes on there. Next episode, we'll see what happens with the wedding coming up, but we'll be back before you know it. So listen to this one.
And take your shirts off. It's No Shirt Sunday.
And it's NSS, so make sure you celebrate with DJ. Available on iTunes. Search Loaded Box, subscribe, rate, and review. And with that, DJ, why don't you send us away?
Bye.